Okay, we got to get the computer plugged in or it's going to die. So you know, guys, how I was talking about Shutterfly a minute ago and how they have sales all the time? Well, Mom just got an email, so y'all might want to write this code down. Today only, you can get 10 free magnets, and the code is magnets. So, Shutterfly.com, yeah. And those are cool little swag pieces, so. And also, I forgot to point it out when I was talking about the Writers Academy earlier, but one of my students from last year is here, Kim. Can wave, Kim? She's killing it. She has so taken everything I taught her and run with it. So if you have any questions about the Academy that you don't want to ask me, you can totally ask her, and she can answer your questions. Okay, so let's jump back into creating your materials. And step number 5, and we're going to be talking about devising and organizing a release day contest. So there are several different contests that you can do. Social media is a good place to host contests. This is one that I did for release. I gave away an iPad mini, and I created, but I'll tell you right now, I don't recommend spending that much money on one you're doing yourself. I don't think that it got a lot of shares, it got a lot of newsletter signups, that kind of thing, but iPad minis are expensive, and I don't think it was worth the cost. But anyway, you could give away, you could do like a gift basket that includes some swag and some books and maybe some other books by authors in your genre, that kind of thing. So what I did was I did the quotes again, and I did it for 10 days, and each day I put a code word. And so they had to collect all the code words, and then they had to send in the code words. And then from that pot of people, I drew the winner and sent them the iPad. And so they also had to enter by liking my Facebook page or signing up for my newsletter. But another great way to do a contest, and this is when it totally pays off to have a big prize like an iPad mini, is if you're doing it with a group. So I did it with these 10 authors that all write, they don't all write time travel, but they were all sort of Scottish romance stuff, and or historical romance. And so we each chipped in a little bit to pay for the cost of the iPad, and then readers had to enter by signing up for our newsletters and liking our Facebook pages. And that was a great way to cross-promote because we got a bunch of people, a lot of those readers had never read my stuff, but they'd read theirs, and so they tried me out, and vice versa. We shared a bunch of readers. So group contests are fantastic. And most of the time, even if you're not a big name, authors are really pretty helpful people. So it is totally easy to reach out to an author in your genre, and chances are they'll go in on something with you. They'll do a contest, or they'll do they'll host an hour on your Facebook party or whatever. And so then here's a list of a bunch of sites that help you contest ideas and resources, and then there's more in the online course. I know I'm saying that a lot, but you guys just wait till you see it. You're going to love it. So more resources. All right, so now we're going to move on to phase number 3, which is promoting your backlist. And I honestly think this is one of the most important parts of any launch, but it's often one of the most neglected parts of a launch. We focus so much on getting the next book out that we don't think about the importance of pushing the books we already have out. So we're going to talk about the different effective promotion sites that you can use to add stack and make the most of your backlist promotion, and the importance of tracking how well those ads work for you, because if you're going to pay for them once, you want to make sure they work before you pay for them again. Okay, so your backlist basically just refers to your older books published by an author. And why promote your backlist? Promoting books in an author's backlist builds the author's fan base and gets new readers hooked in your series in time to buy the new release. That's why I suggest promoting your backlist, promoting the first books in your series, 6 weeks out, because if they love it, hopefully they'll read all the way through in that 6 weeks, and then by the time you have your new release, they're ready to buy that book. Promoting your backlist also improves the ranking of your book and makes it more visible to new eyes and brings more attention to the author. When I did one on Love Beyond Time, I got to number 1 in time travel, and it was ahead of Diana Gabaldon's Outlander. So obviously that was a whole lot more eyes on that book. And this is especially beneficial if you're writing a series. And if you've ever heard me talk before, you know how much, how big I am on series. I mean, as an indie author, it's not really that you like just need to do a series. You honestly sort of have to. I genuinely do not know any indies that are making a living writing standalone books. Series are just a way that you build your audience. So let's talk about some of the good ad sites you can use. BookBub. Do any of you get BookBub ads, like mailings? Are you signed up for BookBub? Okay. If you're a reader and you're not, you should totally sign up for BookBub, because you select the genres that you like to read, and every day you get an email with deals from them. So like you'll end up with like 10,000 free books on your Kindle. But but if you're an author, BookBub ads, they're really difficult to get. But if you can get one, they are so worth it. They're expensive. They didn't have a time travel romance category for a long time. It was just historical romance. So the first few times I ran a BookBub ad, I did it in historical, and those ads were like $695, I think. But I have never, every single time I've had a BookBub, I have earned that ad out the day it launched. I mean, like more than that. So the first time I had a BookBub on the first book in my series for free, I offered it for free on BookBub, I gave away 40,000 copies in a day. So think about that getting into that many hands, how many people are going to read that and go on and buy the other books. So, but you may have to apply dozens and dozens of times before you get accepted into BookBub. But just don't give up. Just keep harassing them politely until they give you, don't harass them, but keep applying. eReader News Today is another really good ad site. They're much more reasonable. Ads usually like $60. And they're really effective, and it's much easier to get an eReader News Today ad than a BookBub. Free Booksy is good, but it's too expensive. It's like $100, and it is effective, but like now BookBub has a time travel romance category, and that ad, because it's a smaller list, is like $95, and Free Booksy's $100, and it's like BookBub's way more effective than Free Booksy. But anyway, Bargain Booksy, Robin Reads, Ripple Select, minibooks.net, Be Nice on Fiverr. If anybody's ever used Fiverr, it's like cheap little things you pay like $5 for, but some of them are really effective. Fussy Librarian's really small, but I like them. They're good to work with, and they like if you do ads with them a lot, like they reached out to me for a feature once, and I got shared a bunch. So they're kind of a startup, and I'm kind of rooting for them. So get an ad with Fussy Librarian. So I think it's really important to ad stack, and so that means that you book multiple promotions over the course of several days to really boost that backlist. Don't just pay for one of the ads I talked about. Pay for several and have them on different days, so that like for a week you're getting a boost every day, and that's really staying up there. And like I've said before, I think 6 weeks or so before is a pretty good time to do it, but you have to realize that like a lot of those have to be booked out like a month in advance. So you could probably really start booking them at the 90-day mark out, but just try to run them, 6 to 8 weeks before your book launches. I'm driving this home again, but make sure you have links to the pre-order of the new release and the back matter of those books that you're promoting, And I do this, and I think it helps a lot. So like at the end of book 1 in my series, I have the first chapter for book 2. In book 2, I have the first chapter for book 3 at the end. Give them a little teaser so that they want to keep reading. I think that's really beneficial. Okay, and then I want to talk about tracking those results. So in your folder, there's a book promotion tracking sheet that you can use to track those promotions. It's also downloadable in the online course. But I think that's so important to do, and I know so many authors that don't do that. They don't track their sales. They do an ad, and then they can't ever gauge how well the ad did because they're not keeping track of it. That's not good business, and it's not smart. So you need to know how well something that you paid for did, so that you know if you want to pay for it again. And I just think it's always important to know your numbers. All right, so now we're getting into the launch phase, the real fun part. Okay, so we're going to talk about, there's a bunch of administrative sort of tasks that you need to do when you launch your book that a lot of people kind of forget about. So we're going to talk about those, and we're going to learn about marketing tasks to do on release day. Release day is the last day that you want to let up off the gas and just throw your hands up. You need to make a final push once that book's out to really get it out there. So have a bunch of things that you need to do on release day when that book's out. The first thing you need to do is if you have your book up for pre-order, hopefully you've already gone and pre-ordered your own book at all the retailers. And really, I think it's a great idea to invest in an e-reader from every place. If you sell your books on Amazon, you should really have a Kindle because you need to know what your books look like on a Kindle. Same thing with a Kobo and a Nook. Apple's easy because if you have an iPhone or, I don't know very many people that don't have some sort of Apple product. So, but you can also, if you don't have that or don't have the money to invest in that, all of those things have apps. You can download the Kindle app and the Nook app and the Kobo app, and you can check them there. But regardless of how you're going to look at it, you need to have purchased your own book on every single retailer because when that book goes live, you need to be the first one that looks at it to make sure that it's downloading properly, to make sure everything looks good, so that if it's not, you can get that file changed, right away. All right, on release day, you're going to update your website. Up until release day, you've had things about the pre-order. You've been counting down. But on release day, you don't want it to say pre-order this book, coming this date. You want it to say that it's now available. And you want those links to be your affiliate links. Is anybody familiar with what that is? Okay, so an affiliate link is, like Amazon has a program that you can sign up for, and you get a special code. This is complicated, but more detail later. Like another lesson, like another time. But,
there are guides online.
Yes, yeah. But basically, it gives you a little code that you put in your link, and so you get an extra amount of money if someone follows that link and buys your book. So, I make a couple $100s a month just by using affiliate links, and you're allowed to put those in your newsletter and on your website. There's some places you're not supposed to put them, but that's all in each service's individual terms. So if someone else does your website for you, I would email them a couple days before release and let them know, I have a book launching this day. I need changing my website to be your top priority on release day. Release day morning, that needs to be changed. Once your book is live, go on and claim your book on Amazon Author Central. And make sure it's showing up on your author page. Add your new release to your BookBub author profile. Does anybody have a BookBub author profile? Kim? Okay. Even if you've never had a BookBub ad, if you have a book available on any retailer, you need to go claim and create your BookBub author profile. And you can do that even if you've never had an ad. And so what you do is you have to, within the first 7 days of your book's release, you have to upload your new release, and if you do that, people can follow you on BookBub like they do on Amazon. They have the follow this author button on Amazon. It's the same thing with BookBub. And if you upload that within the first 7 days, they will send out a new release email to everyone that's followed you on BookBub. So you definitely want to do that. All right, submit your book for copyright. Technically, this is not something that you have to do, but it's another one of those things why would you not give yourself that added protection? So you do that at the U.S. Copyright Office online, copyright.gov, and their guidelines, it's $35, I think, and their guidelines are that they want the best copy you have. And so if they consider that the best copy to be a print version. So if you only have ebooks, if you're not doing print, it's fine, you can upload your ebook onto their website. If you have your books in print, though, those are the ones you should register, and you get 2 copies and you mail them in. And it takes a year to get your thing back. It takes forever. But it just, yes, yeah.
Registration is there the day you file.
Yes. But it just gives you some protection, and it's totally worth the $35. All right, so track sales. You may not do this on release day because they're, I always track, this morning I tracked yesterday's sales. We do it day behind. But you do want to make sure that whatever you're using to track your sales, that you have your new book's information in there and it's ready to gather that information. So we have our own spreadsheet created, and that is downloadable in the online course for you guys. But there's also a lot of online tools you can use. These places will track your sales, and there's really like no right or wrong way to do it. However you want to do it is fine. I just think it's important to know your numbers and keep track of the books you're selling, where and at what price and what country and at what retailer. Okay, so step number 2, you've done those like little administrative tasks. Make a final marketing push on release day. Email your ARC team. Kindly ask them to post their reviews. Make it easy for them to do that. In the email that you send to them, put the link to the review page so that all they have to do is click that link and post their review. And kindly just mention that if they want to purchase the book, it'll be verified and their review will weigh a little bit more. And I know that there's always like the issue, like sometimes Amazon takes reviews down, sometimes they do. Don't sweat it. There's nothing you can do about it, but there's nothing wrong with still encouraging reviews. All right, so send a newsletter. Even if you did pre-orders, be sure and send out a newsletter on release day, because there will be a lot of people that will pre-order your book, but there will also be a lot of people that will wait until it's actually out to order it. So, and this is just like this is a little complicated, but there's a walkthrough of this too. So like wait a few days and segment your list and pull out the people that didn't open it the first time and change the subject line and try to send it to them again. Or another thing I've heard is like, sometimes like this newsletter has like a lot of image and stuff in it, and some mailing services like block that stuff out, send it straight to junk. So you can do a text-only version of your newsletter and resend it to people that didn't open it. And sometimes that can get you more opens, because sometimes it's not that they don't want to open your emails, they're not seeing them. My newsletters go to my personal email address in junk, and I cannot figure out how to keep them from going to junk. But so do a social media blast. And really, release day is really the only day that I think it's okay to send out several tweets about your book or several posts or whatever. You don't want to be too salesy, but release day, that's understandable, and it's fine to do that. So especially tweets, because Twitter moves so fast, your tweet disappears like as soon as you tweet it. So it's fine to do a bunch of tweets. Do a Facebook post with your buy links. Post your book cover in a Pinterest board and make sure that that links back to your website or the buy links. Post an image of your book cover on Instagram and put a lot of hashtags so it'll get seen. Change your Facebook and Twitter headers. Don't leave that one up there that says coming in one day. Make sure it says now available on there. And notify your street team if you have one. Let them know that they can start tweeting about it and posting about it. Include some pre-made shareable tweets that they just click and it tweets it for them. And there's a walkthrough on how to do that too in the online course. If you're launching a Facebook party, go ahead and get that started. Usually the one that's hosting it is going to be the first one to host an hour or whatever, and you'll post questions or contests or whatever, and then the next author will step in the next hour. Jump on Facebook Live. That's something that didn't used to be available to everyone, but now everyone has that live feature on their Facebook. So pop on and talk about how your writing process for the book, the characters, do a short reading, just anything to get people engaged and excited that the book's out on release day. If you're doing any sort of paid for marketing campaigns, if you're going to run some Facebook ads for your new release, if you're going to use Amazon marketing services, go ahead and get those started on release day. All right, and then you need to celebrate, because that's a big deal and you've worked so hard. So take the day off, have a couple drinks, go get a massage, and just celebrate. You're going to be exhausted. All right, so that's basically my stuff for you guys, but I'm going to have Melody. She's going to stand up and she's going to talk you guys through how to access your online course. And this is awesome stuff. And then we'll take questions and that kind of thing at the end.
Okay, just a little bit about the course. As she said, it was actually our intention. She was going to do an online course for authors, and I was going to do an online course for people who wanted to help authors, for author assistance.
Do you want the microphone?
Can you hear me without the microphone? Okay. And you can't?
Here. Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure where I'm going to put this, but... This is going to look like a Martian. Okay, but anyway, she decided not to do the course, and so when she decided to do that, I decided to just kind of change the format of mine a little bit. So what I'm going to do is create a whole self-publishing course. Basically, anyway, an assistant in indie publishing handles just about everything except the writing, anyway. So whenever you go through this, if you're doing it all yourself, then it would be suitable for you as an author. If you have somebody in your family, and that's kind of what, you know, the thing with indie publishing is until you kind of do get built up, you probably can't afford to hire an assistant or, you know, virtual assistant. But I was her mom, and I wanted her to succeed. So I worked for her for a year for free, you know, before I was working full-time at the school when she started. And then after, you know, in that year, I learned a whole lot of stuff, and I'm continually learning. But after a year, she was able to hire me full-time. So what I would like to do maybe is share some information. So if you have a husband or wife or mom or dad or son or daughter or a friend who's interested and wants to help you and can do some tasks for you for free, maybe I can teach them how to do those things. So I decided to go ahead and go with the online course, and I'll just be honest with you, it's the hardest thing I've ever done. And it's so much work, but I think it's going to be really awesome when it's complete. And just a little disclaimer, this is version 1.0, so there are possibly glitches, possibly some mistakes I need to fix. And I am going to continually be updating, even like the book launch section that I have done. I'll be adding new videos and even more to it as we go along. But I wanted to have this up today so you guys could go into it while this is on your mind and go through it and watch it again. And there's a video for everything pretty much that she's talked about, and some walkthroughs to where you're actually kind of looking over my shoulder as I do things on the computer. So like setting up, doing some social media graphics in Canva, setting up an ARC list in MailChimp, some of those kind of things. The way to get to it, there is kind of one little catch. I do want to get you on my mailing list. That's going to be the requirement. For you to get the course, I want you to sign up for my mailing list. I'm starting from scratch on this. And so this is what you'll need to do. You can do it right here if you have your phone with you. You can just send a text message. Just text the word book launch without the quotes, all one word, to 44222. And when you do that, there's a sheet in the back of your packet. On the right-hand side, the last piece of paper has the instructions on it. But you can text that, and there's also a URL that you can go to. If you don't have something that texts, you can go on a computer. And it's going to ask you for your email address. And once you send your email address, then you're going to get a letter from me. It may not be immediate. It may be a little bit. And if you don't get it in, say, 30 minutes or so, be sure and check your spam or your junk folder, because I had both my daughters try it. One of them, it came right through. The other one, it went to junk. So you'll have to check that. But it gives you the link. All you have to click on, you click on that link, and it gives it to you for free. If you go to it without the link, it charges you $97. So we don't want to do that. So, so click on the link. And then once you get in, I'll show you what it looks like. Here's the URL if you don't have something that you can text. But that's also in that package, so you don't have to write it down. It's the last page in your folder on the right-hand side. So I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to show you what it looks like just a little bit. We're already logged in here. And so when you get in, you'll see this is all about book launch. And I am going to be adding sections. I hope to have all of it up by July 15th. That's my target date. So I'm going to have from the very beginning of how to work with a family member or friend, how to organize your files on your computer, what files you need to keep, you know, like you need book covers and buy links and spreadsheets that you'll be able to use, like the book information spreadsheet, which is downloadable here, and the sales tracking spreadsheet, and all of that, to formatting the books, uploading the books at each retailer, at Amazon, iBooks, all of them, including CreateSpace. I'll have a walkthrough of every single one of those so you can watch step by step how to do those things. And I'll have a marketing section. There will be one on mailing list, how to get people on your mailing list, how to get people to sign up for your mailing list, how to actually set up the mailing list. And I'll be doing it in what I use, which is MailChimp, so you'll see those kind of things. But hopefully it will be a resource that will be very beneficial. And like I say, I'm going to be adding to it all the time. But once you get into this, you can go in any order, but I'd like for you to kind of start at this top one, this welcome to the class. This looks very fuzzy. I don't know. Anyway, you just click on start, and it takes you into that section. And then there's a video. Oh, let's scroll past that. Oh, no, we won't. Okay, we'll get past that. And then I'm going to go to the next one so you can see something besides my mug. There's an introduction video that teaches the lesson, and then underneath that, there's usually a list of files that are included that you can download. And anytime you see these files like this, if you just scroll down to below them, you can actually download them. You can click on the file, and then, I don't know why this isn't. But all these are downloadable. You click on them, and then you can download them. Something else, I'm going to go to a different section because there are some that you don't see a preview of. I'm going to go to the backlist one. But there's the video, and then I have additional resources that are actual links here, so you can click on them and go to them while you're in the lesson. And then like below it, there's a little link that says the name of the file. You just click that, and it downloads it to your computer. And then if I ever include like an Excel spreadsheet or a Microsoft Word document, it doesn't show a preview of that. It only shows previews of the PDF files. So be sure and go all the way to the bottom and look and see if there's a link down there that you don't see a preview of, because it might be something that you could use. Some of these spreadsheets, I actually have the formulas already put in, so you just put in like your book information, and it will calculate for you a lot of things, so that's kind of handy. But anyway, you can work your way through this. You can go back and forth. Just because you complete a section doesn't mean you can't go back. You can go back and watch it, and as far as I'm concerned, you'll have access to this forever as long as you want it. So now when I do add the other parts to the course, I am going to be charging for the other sections, just because this is like years of my life, I think, by the time I'm through. But anyway, but well, probably if you're on my mailing list, I'll give you some kind of discount code or discount coupon so you can sign up for it and get it for a little bit cheaper if you're interested. But anyway, I just wanted you to have access to this. We kind of promised it anyway. Morgan was going to do it. And so I hope it's something that you can use. I hope it's beneficial. And also, if you really do like it, I would really love it if you would email me. My email is going to be in the first letter you get when you sign up. And just say, if you're willing to give a testimonial or something about it that I could put on the sales page when it does go live, that would be awesome. And if there are any glitches that you have or things that you see I need to add, if you'd like me to cover more of, send me an email and I'll try to do some of that. So I want to make it as best I can. So any questions about that?
Play one of the videos, just a little bit.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how much volume there's going to be, but so most of it you can kind of hear, but not really. I'm not plugged into volume. But I'll be showing you a lot of some of the same slides that you saw today, be walking through it. But as I get to some links and all, a lot of times I'll go ahead and click on it, show you the website that we're talking about, show you how to do things. And like on let me pause this one. Like on the ARC team, there's the training video that we talk about ARC teams and how to get people to sign up. But then below that, I did a walkthrough on how to create an ARC list in MailChimp, actually how to set up that extra list and have it targeted to go there. So there are some of them have, and then I did a walkthrough on BookFunnel. BookFunnel is what we use to send out free books to members people who sign up for the mailing list. We offer a free novella, and then also for ARCs, to distribute to your team. Without having, it's just so much easier to send it through something like this than to try to send it out manually and have people sideload it. But anyway, I hope it's something that you can use. If it is, let me know. If there's something that needs fixed, let me know. And I don't think there will be any problems with getting into it. I hope not. But I do want to show you that after you log out, I'm going to log out real quick and show you one of the things that I don't like about this online service that I use to set this up is when you log out and go back to the link that you're given, it still has this enroll now button. Don't do that the second time. Once you have enrolled once, go up here to where it says login. I wish it had the login button more prominent for second and third visits, but it doesn't. So if you do this, this is going to get you all confused. You're going to have another password. You're going to be in twice. It's just going to be a headache. So after you go in the initial time, then be sure and log in up there.
And what's the distinction between the sign-up button?
Nothing. It's the same thing. Yeah. That's another thing that I can't control with this particular thing. So, but just be sure that you click log in after the first time. Any questions from anybody? Is that it? Okay. I'm done.
About any questions for me about any of this stuff or about the Writers Academy or whatever?
Yeah, please take this.
Morgan, Beth,
Whatever, either one.
mention was made in the article about your reliance on storyboarding.
Uh-huh.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Where did the little cover go? Sure. I learned my storyboarding method at the Writers Academy. I took a class from Alexandra Sokolov. She's brilliant, and she uses this method to plot your book like a movie. So, like, for example, in a 2-hour movie, ideally there's going to be like a climax every 15 minutes so that you keep watching that movie. So the whole idea of her method is that you plot your books the same way. You know, you have a climax every 50 pages or so, and that makes people wanting to keep turning the pages. So like I have a giant board in my office that has it broken down by the sequences. There's 8 sequences. And so I'll devise my climaxes first, you know, and then I'll make a sticky note of every scene I already know, and I'll put it on a sticky note and I'll put it vaguely where I think it's going to go, and then I'll just start filling it in until the whole thing's plotted.
Sticky note.
Yeah, I use it fills up like a whole wall and just sticky notes. It looks a little like serial killer-ish in my office because it's like, you know, you just need like a string to like, but yeah, I have notes all over the place. Yes, sir?
Talk a little bit about how you use conflict.
Okay. Well, conflict is important. I don't know if conflict, especially in romance, is as important as tension, maybe. But I do always have conflict. There's always some sort of villain, and they always get in a fight, you know. I don't know, sir. Craft questions are so not my thing. I'm so much better at the business stuff. Jody, that's a question you should ask Jody. Yes, sir.
Does Amazon and these different outfits do printing for you or books?
Yes, so Amazon has a segment called Create Space, and that's where I do all my print books. I think Ryan's going to talk about that yeah. And it's really easy because they print on demand, so you don't have to have like a warehouse full of books. You just buy them as you need them. When someone orders on Amazon, they just print one and ship it to them. It's very low cost, really easy, really high quality stuff. So, yeah.
Do you pay state sales tax on Amazon sales or other sales of these?
What do you mean? Like when I sell them individually?
Right, because
Yeah.
I know when you sell to people like on your website,
Yeah.
you pay sales tax.
Yeah,
It's from in-state. But if you sell on Amazon, are they paying the sales tax, or are you required to pay the sales tax?
It's all taken. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they take care of all that.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about it.
No. When you set it up on your website, like with PayPal,
Right.
yeah, but
That's a different, I know that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Kim, right?
Okay, question about street team.
Uh huh.
So, how many people are on your street team, and what are your expectations for them? What do you
Sure.
ask them to do as a member of the street team? And then, how do you know how effective a particular?
Sure. So when I started it, I didn't have like an idea of how many people I wanted in it because I did have them, like I came up with like 6 different things for them to do, and they had to do 3 of them to sort of show me that they really were like a fan, because I kind of invested a lot of money into my street team, so I don't really want people in there that just want free stuff. So I didn't have a cap because I didn't know how many people were going to sign up. It ended up being a lot more than I thought, so I ended up just capping it at 30 because I wanted it to be a fairly small group, and I wanted to actually sort of know these people. You know, like I've met with a lot of them. One of my street team members came to the academy last year, Johnetta, I don't know. Okay. And anyway, so I capped it at 30, and the first thing I did was I had like a welcome packet for them that I sent out, and it had sort of their first bunches of swag. So it had postcards for them to distribute. It had that library kind of form thing. It had bookmarks, and then I also had some gifts for them. Like I included a calendar for them and a mug that had Bethany's Book Babes on it. And so they're welcome to any time they want more swag, let me know, and I'll send them some if they run out, and they really are distributing stuff. Some special things that I do for them, I do send them a little birthday gift every year. But I think I'm going to change that, though, because it's just too hard to keep track of, and do holiday cards like I talked about for the ARC teams or something, or maybe a little holiday gift or something. And I also, every month, I get on with my street team members and do like an hour video chat with them. I get on Facebook Live, and they can ask me anything about the books or about me. Sometimes we just talk about like movies and TV shows and stuff, but whatever, just visit with them. As far as tracking how effective they are, I don't know. Some of the members are really active, and I know that they do stuff because they will send me reviews, and they'll tell me, I left your stuff at this place, and so-and-so's reading your book now, and that kind of thing. Some of them aren't as active, and that's been a little bit of an issue because I don't know how to, you can't like force someone to do stuff, So I did clean them out at one point. I actually had a little more than that for a while, or I have less now, and I knew that some of them weren't very active, and so I sent out a survey to them, and I said, guys, if you don't fill out the survey by this date, I'm knocking you out. So I cleared out about 10 people doing that. And the ones that filled out the survey really are the ones that usually are pretty active, and I can see like when they share a post or something, but I would be careful with street teams not to don't spend a ton of money because they're really beneficial and they can help, but it's one of those things that the return on the investment always isn't like the best. Makes sense. Yes, ma'am?
Like I went through Cleveland to have
Mm-hmm.
who actually
So I'm self-published, so I go directly to the retailers. So Amazon, they have their Kindle Direct Publishing that anyone can go there and upload their book to Amazon. iBooks has the same thing, so does Kobo and Barnes & Noble. So I've done all of it myself. I don't have a traditional publisher. Dirty.
I was just going to say, one thing you can do that doesn't cost much is you can, whenever you travel,
Mm-hmm.
say, I'm going to be in Las Vegas. Write in if you'd like to go to lunch.
Yes.
And I'll take 3 people to lunch. It's not expensive.
Yeah.
And that's fun. They really love that.
Yeah.
And also sometimes, give me the name of it, you'd love to see in a book.
Yeah.
And they go crazy over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or have a contest and let their name be a character in a book. I've seen authors do that a lot, say, do this, and
Yeah.
you have the chance for your name to be
The
a character.
most popular one I had that raised $1,000 was put name the next villain, and you wouldn't believe the ex-husband's
This is why.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that's a really good idea, and I have done that a few times with street team members, and they do love it.
It doesn't cost anything, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Anything else?
You do audiobooks?
Yes, I do audiobooks, and audiobooks are amazing. Audiobooks are like the fastest growing market right now, and they've really become about 40% of my income. Yeah, I love audiobooks. For one, they're so fun. They're so fun to have done so the way audiobooks work, if you don't know, is Amazon has a company called ACX, Audiobook Exchange Program, and so you put together a script from your work. So like I write romance novels, and so I usually have female and male perspectives in my book. So in my script, I'll include a little scene from the female point of view, a little scene from the male point of view, and I'll include a love scene because if that sounds bad on audio, that's going to be terrible. And so you upload the audition script, and they have professional narrators that audition. They record it and they send it in, and you find one you want to work with, you make them an offer, they record it, and it's for sale. And yeah, I love audiobooks. They've really been good for my business. You get a lot of new readers that way, and yeah, I'm an audiobook fan. Yes, sir.
What percent of your earnings is for print versus ebooks and audio?
Like 3%.
Really?
Yeah.
Real print?
Yeah. Very, very small amount for print books. And I think that's probably true for most indies, not true for traditional published people, but yeah, just not a whole lot. I think it's still important to have print books because they're great for, book signings and things like this, and it just looks more professional. But no, it's not like a big chunk of my income at all. Mhm. Okay. Well, that's it. I really enjoyed it.